This is your host, Shylo Eckstrom, and you are tuning in to Grit and Grace. Real people, real conversations, and real grit. Meet Marge, right here, my new favorite thing, and how to be your own superhero. I'm Shylo Eckstrom. This is Grit and Grace. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful day, wherever you are watching from or listening from. I'm super excited to kick off this week with some of my favorite things. I talk a lot about being your own superhero in a lot of interviews. It's going to be part of my book that's coming up. And it's important to me because over the years, I've been asked, how do you become your authentic self? What do you do? And I'm gonna help y'all with some ideas, tips, tricks, and things that inspired me to move into this really awesome place and how to elevate yourself. And I know it sounds really weird and all the things, but I dressed up for you today. If you're not able to watch, I'm wearing a full jumpsuit. It's like cheetah. It's amazing. It's from Good American. I have to give it a shout out because I bought it over a year ago. I saw it and I'm like, I don't know where the heck I'm going to wear that, but I'm going to freaking wear it one day. And I had actually been like 35 pounds heavier last year. It was bad time for me. I didn't know if I'd ever get this sucker on. I mean, it's skin tight. It's Lycra. It's gorgeous. It fits amazing. And I love it. And also, I want to introduce you to Marge. Guess what, y'all? I have a big old zit on my chin. I'm just going to point it out right now because how do you take away from the biggest thing on your face? Well, you dress up like a superhero and you feel freaking awesome. You put some makeup on and you say, screw it, right? Screw it. So we all have flaws. Let's get over it. If you didn't see recently, Khloe Kardashian had a picture surface that was completely unedited, unfiltered. And they're desperately trying to take it down. So if you haven't seen this, you would think that this picture is horrific. Like you wouldn't know. I mean, the way they're acting about it, they're trying to get it off the internet completely. And so I Google it and I'm like, well, I want to see what this is because what is the big deal, right? She's not wearing makeup for the day. Here's the thing. She looks like absolutely beautiful, regular woman. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that, y'all. Like it was so inspiring to me. Like yesterday I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I've had surgeries. And I have scars. And something about that is I really hate my scars. I actually am getting laser treatments to try to remove some of the prominence because I scar poorly. I'm not one of those blessed women who it just looks normal and it just goes away. And so I saw this picture and I was like, number one, she looks beautiful. Her body's beautiful. And yeah, I mean, she's had procedures and stuff. Who cares? I'm not knocking anyone for that. But I could tell that she had a little slight scar and there were some imperfections. Oh my God, who cares? Guess what? Y'all, we have cellulite. We have stretch marks, guys and girls, flaws, weird things. Certain things are uneven. We get fillers and try to improve stuff. But guess what, guys? Over time, we are going to age. And we can do it gracefully. We can do how we want. It doesn't matter. Obviously, lifestyle plays a part. But it was really refreshing to see a Kardashian who is just, that's their life. Like they are filtered, edited. That's what they do. They made billions of dollars. And I'm not knocking it. Obviously, I'm repping a Kardashian right now. So the thing is that it was refreshing. And honestly, I thought, oh my God, I am so hung up on a stupid scar that doesn't matter. And I saw that picture. I'm like, you know what? It's okay. There's no such thing as perfection. I think you can chase it all day long, but you're not going to get it. So there's my little PSA for the day. And we are going to have a plastic surgery conversation down the road here because it is something I've had enough procedures or things gone wrong to help people with that. And we're going to talk about that down the road. Next, favorite thing. So we talked about Marge. She's hanging out with us on my chin. But also iced coffee available in the jug from Starbucks. Now, some of y'all may have already discovered this, but I've been watching The Housewives lately because when I'm just taking time to myself, I binge watch like a season. And this weekend was my weekend to do it. I did not have my kids this weekend. And I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling very good. I was really tired. So I thought, this is the weekend I'm just going to binge watch the Beverly Hills Housewives. I chose that one. I already watched New Jersey. I don't do this all the time, guys, so don't think I'm obsessed. But I kept watching the Jersey Housewives and everyone pouring out this just the Starbucks pre-made coffees. They just throw ice in it. And I'm like, why haven't I done that yet? I'm at Starbucks every day. Like I have an addiction. So I don't drink any longer, as you all know. And if you don't know, now you do. I haven't drank in over 10 months. I gave up alcohol and it's been a life-changing, transforming, and amazing. But I have an obsession with iced coffee. Like it's probably a $10, it could be a $10 a day sometimes addiction, which is a problem. But I don't care because I deserve it. I love it and it tastes good. Problem is, there's a lot of sugar in what I get. I get a caramel macchiato, iced caramel macchiato with non-fat milk, but the caramel is not the best when you have it all day, every day. I thought I was going to have a cavity at the dentist last time I went. I was like, I have caramel macchiatos every day. And he's like, you don't do that, do you? Because I'm healthy and fit, right? I wouldn't do that. But it's my only indulgence. But I tried it today. I threw some ice. I'm having some right now. It's awesome. And don't ask me why I have the K. This means nothing. I'm just going to say it means king because who knows? It was in the cupboard. I have a K. But it's incredible. So, okay. How to be your own superhero. What makes you feel good? I think that's where we should start. So when I was younger, when I was a kid, I also talk about this a lot, and I am going to go into depth. I used to dive into movies, okay? And I was really able to dive in and fantasize and, create something that wasn't there. We didn't live with a lot. We didn't have a lot. And movies kind of got me through tough times. I love science fiction. I loved make-believe, okay? I had a huge imagination. And it was part of the reason over time I knew how to manifest things in my life. I actually, almost everything in my life that's happened, I've manifested in many ways, not always realizing it, which some of us do, but I was putting things out there all the time. And I had this great imagination, of speaking on stages. Even when I was afraid of public speaking, I didn't know how I was going to do that. But I'm like, I feel like I'm going to be on stage one day and speak and help people and inspire people. I always wanted to be that, even as a person who couldn't even stand up in front of the class and read an essay. Like I would panic. I did it, but I would be shaking. I'd almost pee my pants. I mean, I remember being, this is funny. It's also gross, but I used to be a swimmer and a diver. It was mostly diving. They made me swim to be the diver. So I was a natural diver. Like I was talented at this. I was like a phenom. I am going to call myself that because in 7th grade, I was diving at a collegiate level. They actually wanted me to go to college for it. I chose to drink a lot and I didn't care, but I was a really good diver. I naturally just could do it. I was a gymnast prior. And so it just naturally came to me. I loved the water. My dad was a swimmer. And so I swam and I dove. I would freak out before every competition because I would be running into the bathroom, going pee like over and over. I mean, I probably peed in the pool a couple times, guys. I'm just going to be honest. Like I was that nervous. So I'm sorry to my swimming friends. I most likely peed in the pool. Oh my God, that's gross. I know. But it's just so true. And I used to freak out, but I could see myself going to this place, right? And I had a really good imagination, which turned into something that used to take me away sometimes. When things got tough as a child, I had a lot of trauma and I had a lot of things. I would go away for a little while. And I was really good at just being in my head. And that is such a blessing. Sometimes it can be a curse too, because you got to get out of it. It's easy to go into fantasy land for me, but I really have to pull myself out of it. And so over time, I learned how to control it and form it into manifestation and creating my reality. And also it goes into being your own superhero. So for many years in business, and now I'm talking to y'all business people, we're done with some of the stories. I know that's fun. But in business, when I first got started, I was so scared, but I didn't care. And the ignorance on fire started and lasted for about 6 months to a year. And then the real work happened. And something that I had noticed is when I could sit in and be alone. So I'm more of a hermit. Like I recharge by myself. So when life's really hard, when things are happening, I need full quiet. I need like a weekend, kind of like this weekend that I took, to sit. And I can be alone a long time. Like I don't need people around. I don't have to, but I mean, I don't last long. a couple days, maybe but I can go quite a long time if I have to. But it's how I recharge. And so as I was recharging, I would start manifesting. And I noticed it right away and kind of figured out, well, when I do these things, when I get into my space and when I meditate and when I manifest, it starts to happen. And it's hard to describe that to people. So it's basically your imagination, okay? And I think as adults, we stop doing that. We think that's foolish and that's silly. And it's dumb to go into this fantasy world. Like, I love Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, and I'm a huge sci-fi fan. Like Aliens, I've watched it at least 100 times. Predator, I've watched probably 500 times, and I'm not joking. It used to be the movie that got me through stuff. Like, I loved Predator, and I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you don't know that about me, Arnold's the guy. Like, love him. Absolutely love him. He's one of my favorite. And so I was able to do this as an adult and push myself through some really challenging times. And getting into business life, I was able to start envisioning the next level. I was able to start, and as I was saying things in my mind and then out loud, and then I would start to practice in the mirror. So another thing, I think as adults, we just think this stuff is crazy, and it's like, oh, that's kid stuff. No, these kids, you as a child is the best thing. If you can bring yourself back to being a child, your life will open up. Because we're just sponges when we're kids. And we don't care what other people think. And so the first thing I would tell you, and here's your homework, and this is a tough one, you have to really let go of what people think. And it's really hard because we have, I'm going to fix this collar. We have people in our lives that mean a lot to us, if maybe it's a spouse or a partner or a family member, and they may not support you in your business. Hello. I've been there. And I'm not talking about my spouse as much as I'm talking about just in general. People that you want to support you, like you're like, this friend's got me, and they don't. I mean, that's happened to me so many times where I've gotten a huge award, or I feel really like excited about something, and nobody cares. And I remember even when I started this podcast, I was so excited because I'm like, this is a passion project of mine. I'm really excited. And a lot of my family just didn't care. Like they didn't realize I was doing it, or they thought, oh, it's just a podcast. And I'm like, right, but it's important to me. So a lot of the times you'll have a situation or an experience that'll ruin all experiences if you allow it. So what you need to do, and I challenge you, is don't let the past come into the next 90 days for you, the next 9 years. Like, what I want you to do is think about the times that you're let down. And I want you to seriously let them go. F it. Because if they're not paying your bills, and this doesn't mean they're not important, but if they're not paying your bills and they're not giving you your dreams, and by the way, that's nobody but you, then it doesn't matter. You've got to fulfill yourself. You can't be a great mother, a great leader, a great wife, a great anything, or a great husband, for the men on here, unless you take care of yourself and give yourself what you need to thrive and prosper. And I really grabbed onto that right away. That's why I would have my weekends alone. That's why, if my husband was around, I'm like, hey, it's a great weekend to take the kids to the lake. Like, I'm good. I don't need to be up there this weekend. Like, this weekend is straight up. I'm going to do my thing. And half the time I'd be in my bed. I might be working, but I was getting myself right. For me, that's what I do. Some people, it's different. Some people need to go to the lake. Some people need to go kayaking or hiking. Great. Find your thing that puts your mind into this open space. You need to have these moments. If you're constantly in the grind and you're not paying attention, you're like this, you're going to fry. You're going to feel terrible. So Shylo, okay, don't care what people think. Use your imagination and talk to yourself, right? These are what I'm telling you to do. Yeah, I am. I'm telling you to start talking to yourself. I'm telling you to start writing shit on your mirror. I'm telling you to start writing it down everywhere. Write yourself notes, journal, like start gratitude journaling and I ams. And so these are really important. So the other thing that's a really big deal when becoming your own superhero, these are the small little things that add up over time. And I talk about habits. I just talked about habits. So this goes right along next to the habit podcast, which was featured prior. If you're going to get to this next level and you're going to be proud of yourself and a superhero and be in your own skin and be like fully you need to be writing this out in what you are. I am an 8-figure earner. I am ... What rank do you want to hit? What position do you want to hit? Where do you want to be? I am philanthropic. I am starting a water project, or, whatever it is. My heart is still in Haiti. I love serving, but I am looking for a new project and I'm ready. Like for 3 years, I put myself in a hole. I went through a serious legal battle. I was super depressed. I had a lot of things happening in my life, alcohol to control, and I was just a hot mess express. And so I stepped out of this service that I was always in. And service is something that gives you back what you want to. When you serve others, when you're in service, what it does for you at the end of the day is also important. It helps your heart. It gives your heart what it needs. Service is everything. So for me, I'm jumping into some new projects. I want to serve. I love giving back to the community. So I always serve local, and then I serve state usually, and then I go outside. But I have so many things that I want to help with. It's hard to find which one you do, right? But I have a few projects in mind, and I'm excited about that. Okay, back on track. I am ... Start small. 5-10 minutes a morning, higher power, God, whatever you believe in. And you do need to believe in something. And I'm not going to preach Christianity. I'm not going to preach a specific anything, but you need to find something you believe in. The universe, positive, negative, science, no matter what, it all revolves around each other. So you got to have something to believe in. And then you have to believe in yourself. And this is how you do that. Part of being your own superhero is believing in yourself. It's really hard. Today, I'll be honest, I'm going to tell you what my day was like. So I wake up, I was having a meltdown. I'm going to have a little sip of coffee here. So I've been thinking a lot. And when I get in my head, sometimes I can get really in my head. And what happened to me today, and I'm sure some of you relate, is I woke up and I wanted to cry a little bit. I was like, oh, I feel like this. And I feel like I'm not impacting people. And I feel like I'm not in service enough, right? So I was like, gosh, you ever have a morning, and as a mother, for sure, you feel like you're failing constantly. Well, my daughter turned 21 today, and she's not speaking to me right now because she's just a little crabby at me, and that's fine. But it's one of those things where you're just like, you don't feel good about it, and your kids are everything. And so when you're not perfect with your kids, your life is like, and I had to check myself. So what did I do? I reached to my brother. I reached to my husband. And I'm like, this is how I'm feeling. And I spent 30 minutes just FaceTiming and like having fun conversations and getting myself back on track. And I was honest. I told my brother, I'm like, here's the deal. I don't feel good today. I'm really low and I don't know why. You have to find your people. So that's the other part of this. You're journaling. You're using your imagination. You're being a kid again. You're letting go of other people's opinions. You need to have your people in your corner. So this is the other part. I preach, find your few people. Okay. I'm not somebody who thinks people have 20 best friends. If you do, that's great. I don't. I've never been that person. That doesn't mean I'm picky. It just means I don't think I'm for 20 people at a time. I have a few. I've got my 2 girlfriends who are my girls. And then I have my brothers and my husband still. Even though we're not doing the best, he's still my best friend. And the thing is that, and yeah, I said that. I mean, who cares? Like, whatever. Like, let's be real. Marriage is marriage. It's all over. It's up, it's down. It can be sad. But I have my people that I always know that I just got to be honest with and say, hey, I'm not feeling the greatest. And in 5 minutes, my brother pulled me out by saying something silly. And that's all I needed. I just needed to like get out of my head. Because what I was doing is I was living in the future. You have to live in the present. And that's the other lesson here. You really have to live in the present. If you want to be a happy person, I thought about it, like, why am I not happy? Why am I not happy right now? Today, as I woke up. There's no reason. I said, Shylo, are you living in the present? No, I wasn't. I was living in La La Land, not a good one. I was living in future La La Land, which is a place you should not. It can be great when you're envisioning and you're doing all this manifestation, but when it's stuff like regular stuff and you're like, oh, it's going to be terrible, your mind can also take you to the bad place. So when you are manifesting and envisioning, be in the right space. Put yourself in the right space. Think of where you want to be, put yourself there, and then go into that narrative. It's really important because we can psych ourselves out too. And I do it. I do it on a daily. Like, I want people to know, like, when you look at a celebrity, or when you look and I don't worship anyone. I don't worship idols. I don't worship celebrities. I do observe. And when you look at successful people and you look at 6, 7, 8-figure earners, they all share so many common traits. It's not hard. It's just that we're overlooking them. Like, oh, using your imagination is silly. Writing on your mirror is silly. Yeah, well, I know a lot of 7 and 8-figure earners that do it all the time. Oh, I don't have time to journal in the morning. I know a lot of 8-figure earners that journal every morning. They read books every morning too. They work out every morning too. Like, what's important? You know what I mean? Yeah, I had my lazy weekend with the housewives, but that's not every weekend. It's not that is rare. And it's a little secret obsession I have. Every now and then I just need to escape. I need to be in a different place. I need to not be in serious world. Sometimes it's okay. And that's why it was so important to me to watch movies. Okay. It was so important to me to escape into the science fiction world and the fairy tale world, because it made me happy. And it made me put myself in that place, in a good place, and say, oh my gosh, I could create something like that. Not alien type stuff, but you know what I mean. So as you move forward, then it comes into what makes you happy. What about, what do you feel good in? I love when I can get an outfit that fits. Let's just say this. There's nothing worse. I'm covering up my zip right now. There's nothing worse than trying on clothes that don't fit. And I'm not talking about, it doesn't matter the size. It just is the worst thing in the world when you're like, crap. And I'm not talking about things that are too small for you, that have always been too small, and then you put yourself down. I'm talking about if you've gotten a little heavier, or if just things don't fit. For me, when you can wear something like this and it's Lycra, and I'm like, it fits perfect. You feel so good. That's what makes me feel good. It's not just clothes. It's not about my size. It's not petty like that. It's just, that's what makes me feel good. Getting dressed and feeling like, wow, I feel really good today. That makes me feel good. I love editing photos. It's something I started to do recently, in the last year. I'm actually like, hey, I actually like doing this. I love editing photos. It doesn't matter what photos. I just love editing them. And now I'm trying to do videos, and I have a love-hate with TikTok, but y'all, kind of starting to like it. I'm kind of getting it. I'm kind of understand that you could be silly for 5 seconds and throw it out there and put some fun words in it and video or music, and cool. However, you have to build your businesses, right? I have to build my business that way. We're on social media. That's what our business is. So that's what we do. We're doing reels. We're doing TikToks. We're throwing ourselves out there all the time. But trying to find your authentic self in this world can be extremely challenging. Extremely challenging. We are all filtered and edited so much. And so sometimes you have to step out of it to see who you are. And it's taken me almost 14 years to navigate that. So when I got into my marriage, and I know I'm going kind of all over, and I hope this makes sense. When I got married, 15 years ago, my husband was a professional athlete. And so Facebook wasn't even on the scene yet. It came out a couple of years later, but we were in the public spotlight in that world. So we were in a public eye in our community and in the racing world. And so there was pressure put on, and it was a pressure I had never experienced. And I was shy, and I didn't know how to act necessarily around sponsors and things. And I didn't want to make a mistake because I didn't want my husband to get mad at me. And I did make a couple of mistakes. I mean, there was a couple of races I had too much to drink, or I was being silly, or I said the wrong things, and innocently sometimes, but you have to be very mindful of what's happening, who's paying the bills, and what you need to do. There's a level. So I had to level up really quick. And my husband was very gracious with me, and he was a very humble human being. And so he was a great example for me and really set the pace for my business, which is so funny because you never know when you're going into that world that I would end up going into a business world where he helped me with my presence, my stage presence, my speaking. It was so funny because there was one point where he's like, I'm not the best speaker, but you came into our world where you wouldn't even speak at our wedding. And I was speaking, and then I was doing it well after a while. And he was really impressed that this girl who was in her shell for so long was blossomed, right? And it took years of practice and failures, but it propelled me into this business world that I would have never imagined at the time would go where it went. and to be where I am now. And so it's important during that journey. I made a lot of mistakes, and I encourage people, fail forward. I always say that, fail forward and do it quickly. If you want to go fast, you have to fail a lot. But the other thing is just make sure every time you slip or fall that you realize what happened and you fix it each time. Don't keep doing the same thing over and over. That's insanity. But fix it and look at it, observe it, don't dwell on it, and then move forward. And I got really good at the moving forward part. I used to dwell on things a long time. Now I can get through them pretty quick. But you are going to make mistakes. But with each mistake, I would find what was good about it, and I'd find things about myself. I'm like, well, I said that really poorly, or I should have communicated better. And then I work on my communication, find the things that you need improving on, but don't beat yourself up. So that's the next part of this is don't beat yourself up. To be your own superhero, you got to give yourself grace. Hello. And you have to say F it sometimes. Like, seriously, there's going to be days you're not going to be perfect. It's not going to always work out. You just got to say F it. Like, if you like crazy, weird clothes, my daughter has these boots. Okay, my daughter's 14, my second daughter, the middle child. She has these boots. They're wild. I love them. But she is such a hippie and so quiet that the fact that she's wearing these boots are crazy. They look like Marilyn Manson boots. They're like really high knee highs. They've got chrome all over them. They're super chunky. I love them. Like, obsessed with these boots. And the fact that she's wearing them is so funny. She goes to a pretty conservative school and they all love them. But she's being herself. And to see a girl at 14 be herself is pretty freaking phenomenal, because there's so much pressure to look a certain way, to dress a certain way. And we feel it as adults. Like, in business, when you're in a high level aggressive business, and I'm in a high level aggressive business, it's competitive. You got women looking at you. Ooh, did she gain weight? Did she lose weight? And all this stuff. That used to bother me so bad. And I used to put so much pressure on myself for my body. And I went through body dysmorphia. I went through body image issues. Hello, plastic surgeries. I did. I had plastic surgeries thinking, and I enjoy a little nip tuck. I'm going to be honest. I enjoy a little sprucing up. But there's a level. I didn't want to get to this crazy, weird level of like, whoa, who is that? I want to be able to recognize me. And I did have to check myself at the door after a while and be like, you got to heal this. You got to heal who you are. And gaining 36 pounds, it humbled me. It put this lady in check because I did it publicly and it was really bad. My fall was happening. And it was, I think, in my opinion, was God's way of saying, hey, you need to sit down. You need to sit down and look at yourself. What's important? It's not your body. I love looking healthy and fit, but you know what? That's not the most important thing. My health was deteriorating as well, and I had to get that on track. So, what do you like to wear? Do your hair the way you freaking want. Speak the way you speak. Don't try to be someone else. Don't talk. I obviously am channeling the Kardashians today. I brought them up several times. It's just the fact that I'm wearing the clothing line, but they're not my idols. They're normal people, and they're them. And because they were them and they didn't care what people thought, like, seriously, they care about the edits and stuff, but they changed the game. Think about it. Big asses became really popular in all of America when I couldn't even go to American Eagle and try on a size 8 because the damn things were so small. I've always had a butt. And so they made big butts cool. And now everyone's getting butt implants and all this. Who cares? It's what they did. They did that. You do you. What makes you stand out? How are you your own superhero? Be proud of your damn self. Okay? How are you proud of yourself? What do you want to do? Write that damn thing down every day and go do it. Speak your language. Don't speak mine. I teach this to people. I'm like, you can't copy and paste what I say. People would think you're crazy if that's coming out of your mouth because I talk a certain way. And nobody's going to respond well to you if you speak in my language. Speak in your language. We have to undo a lot of things. Social media makes it really hard to be ourselves. But, for me, I don't mind. I don't mind having a little nip tuck every now and then. I don't mind putting fillers in my face because that's what I like. I'm not doing it for other people. I'm doing it for me. But if that's not your thing, don't do it. Rock that shit. Like, you got to stop caring. Who cares if someone thinks you're fake? Someone's going to think you're fake no matter what. Who cares what you're wearing? Someone's not going to like your clothes. Who cares? You have to stop trying to please everyone, because doing that is going to please no one. And again, we come back to, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not proud of yourself at the end of the day, and what do you do to make yourself proud? You have to find that. I am ... Who are you grateful for? Some days it's going to be the air you breathe and shelter. You're going to have bad days, and it's going to just be that. You're going to be like, thank you, God, for my shelter. Thank you for the air I breathe. Thank you that I'm alive today. That's okay. Know that you're going to have shitty days, and know there's going to be great days. But how are you your own superhero? You got to live your life as yourself. Isn't it crazy in this day and age to be your own superhero? It's just being your authentic self. Isn't that wild? It's so damn true. It's so damn true. So if you have a zit, rock it. You want to wear a jumper or lycra, rock it. You love wearing sweatpants all day, rock it, because I also love doing that. Watch The Housewives sometimes. It's a secret obsession. Watch it. Who cares? But be you, because there's someone looking around for someone like you that they want to follow, that they want to be a part of. They want to be a part of your crew, right? And when you're building teams in a big business, that's what people are looking for. They're not looking for phony and fake. We get enough of that stuff. We want to know who the heck we're dealing with. If you swear, swear. If you don't. It doesn't matter. I used to struggle all the time. I felt like I was a filtered version of myself all day long. I hated it. I felt like I was being fake in my marriage. I felt like I was being fake to everyone. And I was. Because I was trying to please so many people. I was miserable. So what do? Use your imagination. Write shit on the mirror. Talk to yourself. Write it down. I ams. Be proud of yourself. What do you need to do that? Do you need time alone? Do you need time with people? Do you like to dress up? Do you like to dress down? You've got to write the things down that make you happy. What fulfills you? Is it your children? If you don't have children, is it your fur babies? Talk about it. That's you. Somebody needs you. You need you. You need to be proud of yourself for you. Because if you're not taken care of, how can you be your own superhero? And how can someone else look up to you? And how can somebody else, like your babies, come to you? They need you. And I needed this reminder today, and I need it all the time. So wear the damn outfit, eat the damn cake, and rock your damn zit. I'm Shylo Eckstrom. This is another episode of Grit and Grace. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for listening to and watching Grit and Grace. This episode will be continued next week. Subscribe to us on Spotify or Apple iTunes to listen, and download the Lux TV app to watch anytime, anywhere.
Now, glutathione is a big word, but it's the body's own master antioxidant. So it's a scavenger for free radicals, for bacteria, and what's relevant now, viruses. This is new to the marketplace. There's no other product on the market that has the ingredient NACET.
And basically NACET increases the production of that glutathione that is in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system and keep it strong. Elevated sense of well-being. Supports muscle strength and endurance. Cognitive function. Powerful liver support. Energy. Helps blood sugar regulation. Superior bioavailability of key ingredients.
one of your best defenses against COVID
Mhm.
is a strong immune system. Taking GSH Plus as a daily supplement does all that. And now we have the product out on the marketplace.